Morning everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel. It's another video match day championship predictions video. It's a Thursday, so I can only mean one thing. We haven't done many of these videos in a while, obviously because there's not been much in between. Any match day vlogs, well, one's coming Saturday because we're playing Burton, but there's not been much in between really. There's not really been much to really report about or talk about really. But to get into the video, we'll start for Friday's game, a fantastic game. It's Derby hosting Bristol City at Pride Park in a Friday night clash, which is tomorrow night. And this will be a huge game really for the automatic promotion race between two sides who've really taken the championship a lot this season, and probably a bit unexpected to probably do so well. Obviously both teams, well, especially Derby, are always renowned for being in around that playoff picture, but to be doing so well on the Gary out, it symbolises what a good side they are. Obviously they've gone and signed Cameron Jerome a couple of days ago as well from Norwich for £1.2 million, I think it was. That's an absolute bargain of a deal for someone who's such a proven goal scorer in this division, who scores goals as well. That's an absolute steal for such a small amount of money. But this will be a tough game against a Bristol City side who are playing some good stuff at the moment as well. Okay, lost to Norwich 1-0 on Saturday, but prior to that, they've done well against Man City, only going down 2-1 there at the Etihad, despite letting a late goal thanks to Aguero. But prior to that, they've been playing some really good stuff. I do think whoever wins this will definitely push them clear of the playoff places, and it's a big win for both sides if should they get it. But looking at where this is going to go, I'm going to go with a 2-1 Derby. Just the fact I think Derby are playing with such freedom and good football at the moment, and they've been playing with such confidence for the past few months now, and the strength and depth they've got, I think they've got more quality and depth than what Bristol City do. And I think that just could be enough to really take this, get them the 3 points. It'll be a tight game, but I see Derby nicking this game 1-0 in a very tight run affair. Let's go into the Saturday games. Kick off for Aston Villa. They host Barnsley on Saturday in the 3 o'clockers. Aston Villa haven't been too bad recently. A good result against Nottingham Forest last Saturday in the evening kick-off was a good result thanks to Scott Hogan's strike to make it 1-0. And they saw that game out quite professionally as well. Did with small little bursts of Nottingham Forest pressure in the second half. It really paved the way for a much needed win in terms of them trying to stay in the playoff race. Obviously, John Terry coming back into the fold is huge for Aston Villa. He was there and also helped them out in their early season form as well. And was probably one of the reasons why they've been in the playoffs for such a long period of time. Whereas look at Barnsley, and they got a good result against Wolves on Saturday. A 0-0 draw at home isn't the worst result in the world at all against a very good Wolves side. So that's something they can build upon now. A clean sheet at home, something they haven't achieved in a while either. So it's now with Barnsley trying to build foundations. Obviously they got Keffer Moore in a couple of weeks ago. I don't think he come on against Wolves. I'm not too sure, but if he does on Saturday, it definitely cause problems to Aston Villa back line. But looking at where it's going to go, I do feel like Villa will have a bit too much quality, similar to what Derby will. And I do fancy Aston Villa to win this game 3-0. Let's go to the next game, Bolton host Ipswich. Look at the way this is going to go. It's going to be a tight game between two sides who can play similar types of football. Both like to play direct football and also have very good attacking threats in either side. With obviously Gary Medine from Bolton, and Ipswich have Joe Garner, Martin Waghorn. Bertrand Angelino's always got an absolute worldie over the weekend against Leeds in their 1-0 win over Leeds. That was an absolute worldie of a goal. But look at where it's going to go. Again, this is going to be another tight game, a close run affair between two sides who could desperately need 3 points here. Obviously, Bolton needed to try and keep their relegation survival hopes alive, and also Ipswich needed to try and keep tabs on the playoff pack, who are now starting to probably pull away now from that 9th and 10th position now, and in and around that 6 to 8 now is a little bit of a buffer zone now. But look how this is going to go. I'm going to go over 2-1 Bolton. Just for the fact, I think at home they've done quite well this season, beaten some good teams at home as well, and they play some of their best football at home for me. And I think that'll just be enough to get them across the line. Let's go into the next game. Fulham, my team host Burton Albion. I'll be vlogging this game as well Saturday, so that'll be interesting to get back into that routine again. But this will be a tight game, really. Obviously, we're playing really well at the moment. Good result against Middlesbrough. We didn't play too great, but we managed to pull out the win, which is always a good thing. And we come against the Burton Albion side, who are tough and resilient. Okay, they did lose 3-1 to QPR at home on Saturday, which wasn't the best result in the world for them. They probably could have done with getting something from that game. But they're going to come away from home. Obviously, they got a point up at Craven Cottage last season when we played them last year as well. So they know what to do in terms of getting something from our ground. And they're going to be a difficult test. It's going to be a physical test that they're going to try and clamp us down, not allow us to play our passing fluent football. And it's, as I said before, this is going to be one of them games which really can make or break a season. If we want to finish in our playoff places, we have to beat these type of teams. And look at what's going to go. I'm going to go for 2-0 Fulham. Just for the fact I think, again, similar to our other team, the strength and depth and quality might just be enough to get us over the line in this game. Despite Burton Albion, they'll hold out, I think, for a long period of time. But I think once that first goal comes, I'm sure the floodgates will open and we'll probably get a second towards the end of the game. Let's go to the next game. It's a local, a livid rivalry here. Leeds host Millwall. Obviously, Leeds won a bit of retribution for what Millwall did to them last season, taking Leeds' unbeaten record and beating them at the Den. So Leeds want a bit of revenge coming up back at Ellen Road now in the reverse fixture. And both sides are playing quite well, so this should be an entertaining game between two sides who are actually doing some good stuff at the moment. Obviously, Leeds are in the playoff places and doing fantastically well. Okay, that little slip up to Ipswich is probably a minor little blip. I still think they'll be in around that top six come May. Obviously, Millwall getting some good results together now as well. A couple of good draws at home, a couple of sound results on the road as well. And it's now looking like they're going to probably just finishing around that mid-table position. I don't think they're going to be going down this season. I think they've got enough quality and togetherness to keep them away from that bottom three. And look at how it's going to go. It's been another tight game, but I do fancy Millwall to get something on the road here. I think they like these sort of type of games. They like playing at the occasion. You know, they're suited to this type of thing. The pressure's not going to be on them on Saturday. It's all going to be on Leeds. Leeds are expected to win this game, so Millwall can just go there, play their good counter-attacking stuff what they can do, and on their day they're capable of doing a domestic double over Leeds for the first time in a while, I think it is as well. But look at where it's going to go. I'm going to go for a draw here. I'm going to go 1-1, just for the fact that Leeds are a fantastic side, don't get me wrong, they're a good team, but I can see Millwall having a few tricks up their sleeve, and these type of teams you play around that mid-table echelon of the league do come with a game plan and also a plan B as well. So if plan A fails, Millwall could resort to a plan B. And I just think that the way Leeds are playing at the moment, this could be another little minor stumbling block. Let's go into the next game. Norwich host Sheffield United. Norwich went all the way to extra time and penalties last night against Chelsea before getting beaten in the FA Cup 5-3 on penalties. They looked quite good in parts of that game, but didn't look fantastic. They looked good in parts of that game. But this has been another big test against Sheffield United side. They drew 0-0 in their Still City derby last week, and that'd be a bit disappointing for Chris Wilder's side. They were the better of the two teams in large parts of that game. But I think this will be a way for them to bounce back. I do fancy Sheffield United to win 3-1. I think their attacking quality and the way they're playing at the moment will be good. And they do need this win because you've got teams below them now chasing them and keeping a good eye on them now in terms of trying to nab a playoff place. So they need to try and get 3 points here to keep them in that playoff place and away from the chasing pack, who might try and get near them. But as I said though, a 3-1 win for the away side. Let's go into the next game. Preston host Birmingham. A reverse fixture from Preston's win at St Andrews early on in the season. A game which Harry Redknapp got sacked after that game as well the following day. And I do fancy Preston to win this game just for the fact they're playing some really good stuff. Made a couple of nice, astute signings. Billy Bowden, Lewis Moult spring to mind. Two very talented players from the Scottish Premier League and Bristol Rovers down in League One. And I just think they have a bit too much in hand for a Birmingham side. They went on a little mini revival period coming towards that Christmas period, early January. Okay, they lost. They've had a little bit of a slip up recently, but I just think they're going to come against a good side here who haven't got the players you'd associate with a Championship playoff type of team really on paper. But as a team, they play some really good stuff. And they're in that chasing pack as well, so it all depends on whoever fancies it the most come May. But I do fancy Preston to win this game 2-0. Birmingham don't score a lot of goals, and they're coming against a good quality attacking side like Preston could be their undoing. Let's go on to the next game. QPR host Middlesbrough. This will be a tight game for QPR, though. They've got a good home form, and I do think they can win this game. Obviously, Middlesbrough got beat by Fulham 1-0 last Saturday as well, and it did to me seem like they're struggling to put chances at the back of the net at the moment. They're creating loads of chances, don't get me wrong, but they're struggling to put some at the back of the net. And QPR also got a good win against Burton 3-1, so their home form's looking solid as well. If they can put that onto the road, then I think they'll finish quite comfortably mid-table this season. But look, I'm just going to go. I'm going to go for 1-0 QPR, just for the fact they've beaten some very good teams at home. Wolves, Sheffield United, teams like that. And they do give good teams a good go at home as well. And this could be a very tough game for Middlesbrough, and I just fancy QPR to come out on top. So moving on, Reading host Brentford. This has been an interesting game for Reading. They haven't been playing too well this season. A couple of calls for Yapstam still to be sacked, and he might go, I think, if they don't get a result here, potentially. Maybe I'm clutching at straws, I don't know. But Brentford are playing some good stuff at the moment as well, playing some good football, trying to get a playoff place this season as well. That's a realistic aim for them. They're playing some good stuff, as I said, picking up some fantastic results against good teams and playing some attractive football, which has gained many plaudits. And then look at the way this is going to go. I do fancy a 2-1 away win. I think once you're in a bit of form in this league, it does allow you to play with a bit more freedom and express yourself a bit better. And like Reading, when you're trying to get a win, trying to get as many points as you can, it can be a bit of a problem, and the home fans can get on your back, especially if you go a goal down. So as I said, 2-1 to Brentford. So moving on, Sunderland host Hull. It's actually a huge game for both sides. If Sunderland can win this now, it gives them a little bit of a chance to try to potentially stay up in this division. And if Hull win this now, it'll pull them clear hope, depending on how other results go away from that relegation zone. Obviously, Chris Coleman last week, Sunderland got beat 4-0 by Cardiff down at Cardiff, and they didn't look too great really at all. I do think Chris Coleman could potentially leave. I think he's a manager from Waitrose, and there's Mickey Grayson and Football and 5. They've got players from Aldi, which is a nice way of saying it. Really, it could be a bit more colourful, but obviously on TV you can't. But yeah, look at how it's going to go though. I do fancy Hull to win this game 2-1. I think Hull have got the better quality players and a better quality, and I think they're going to be a bit more direct. And I do fancy them to win this game 2-0. Next, I'm going into the penultimate game of this review. Wolves host Nottingham Forest. I'm going to go for a draw in this game. Just the fact that Artur Karanka's a good defensive coach. Okay, they lost 1-0 to Aston Villa, but they showed good spells in parts in that game, and they didn't look too bad at all. So it's positive things to see from Artur Karanka since taking over. But Wolves obviously don't. Okay, they got beat by Swansea in the FA Cup last night, but that's nothing to worry about really. Their main aim is trying to get promotion out of the Premier League. Okay, a point against Barnsley wasn't the best result in the world for them. I do fancy it to be another 1-1 draw here, just for the fact that Wolves are a very good attacking side, but Artur Karanka's a good defensive coach, as we've seen with Middlesbrough in the past, and I just think he might have their number here. I'm going to the final game of the review. Sheffield Wednesday hosts Cardiff. I'm going to go for the away win in this game, just for the fact that I think Cardiff will bully Sheffield Wednesday, and Sheffield Wednesday probably won't like it, really. I think they're a bit of a... They can mix it themselves, but I think Cardiff are in some good form. Marko Grujic is a good signing from Liverpool as well, good young lad. And they're playing some good stuff at the moment. A good 4-0 win against Sunderland suggests they're back to winning ways. And a cup tie against Man City in the next round of weights after beating Mansfield Town 3-1 last night in the cup replay as well. So things are looking good and looking up for Cardiff at the moment. I do fancy them to win 2-1. So there, guys, there's my Championship Matchday review. If you do like it, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. And we'll see you all on Saturday for the Matchday vlog. Bye-bye.